Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, the Drafted Up podcast. No guest intro today. It's just Nick and I, as we're giving you a somewhat early, but not too early, 2026 NFL mock draft.
A little early.
But dude, there's people putting out mock drafts the day
right
after the NFL draft.
Yeah, for
sure.
For sure.
We at least got a little bit into the summer and got things going. But we're going to do 2026 early mock draft, and then going forward, we shift our focus to 95% fantasy football, where we'll just bring in a little prospect spotlight here and there. But after today's episode, we will primarily shift our focus over to the fantasy side. Nicholas, how you doing today?
Doing good.
Beautiful Pennsylvania heat wave.
Oh, dude, we are on the back end of it. Tomorrow's supposed to be like 70, so I'm happy to hear that. It's been pushing 100 the last 4 days. It's been absolutely horrendous for us bigger folks that are watching. They know we're two big dudes. So, man, this heat wave has been killing me at work, dude. I'm exhausted, but ready to grind this mock. It's going to be fun. We're back to twice a week next week? Or is that 2 weeks from now?
No, following week.
2 weeks from now. So we're getting close to being back Tuesdays and Thursdays most likely. So that's exciting. Get to see more of us, hear more of us. Lucky everybody.
Thankfully, my workplace has great air conditioning, which is amazing because you used to work there, so you know years and years went by. That air conditioning unit was just
terrible,
not consistent, but it is
absolutely terrible.
Knock on wood, it made it through the heat wave.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I was dreading it. But my office, nice and cold. Also have a fan, so it's just chilly.
Yeah.
It hurts my arthritic bones, but it's worth it to not dripping in sweat.
Yeah, for sure.
Drafted Up Podcast, you know where to find us. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you watch or listen to the show, search Drafted Up Podcast. We'll be there. Like, rate, subscribe, review, share, tell a friend. We appreciate all the support from all you guys. And then Twitter at @draftedup_pod if you want to give us @draftedup_pod is the Twitter handle if you want to give us a follow over there. Maybe one day I'll also actually use the TikTok page I created and the Substack thing I created. Maybe I'll create an Instagram. I don't know. But that's a lot. I don't like social media that much, so
yeah, maybe one day.
I gotta get a guy to do it for us.
If someone's willing to run a social media page for us, let us know.
Yeah, clip the show, post them out, do all the work for me. I'll give you a little scratch.
We'll pay you in love. Hugs. I'll give you some hugs.
I'll give you $1 a week.
Hey, that's $52 a year.
$52 for the year. Before we dive into the mock draft, let's get the sponsors out of the way. First up, Finley Hats. Finley Hats, you know by now, big hat guy over here, and the people over at Finley Hats are creating hats for good times, and they're unlike any other hat on the planet. They have a lifetime warranty, so if your hat is damaged or destroyed, they'll repair it or replace it free of charge. They got Stampede laces. You could take them, design them however you want. You could put 2 in there, make them different colors. You could wear it to strap your hat to your head if it's like a windy day, or if you're out on the boat or out on the beach. You could do that. It's a cool little thing. And they also got this nice little hidden pocket on the inside where you can stash your cash or anything that you can squeeze in there. So join the Finley Force, and if you click the link provided in the episode info, new buyers will get a nice, cool 15% discount off their purchase. So support our friends, join the Finley Force, and then you'll support the podcast. Hats, they got snapbacks, dad hats, beanies. They have mystery boxes, flash drops every Friday night, shirts, shorts, pajama shorts, all kinds of stuff over there at Finley Hats. So check them out and join the Force over at Finley Hats. And then, of course, our friends over at W Energy, jitter-free, crash-free, no sugars, no artificial flavors, no dyes, no calories. So they got a collab with the Anime of the Year, Solo Leveling, as well as other content creators like ourselves. We don't have a W tub, but that would be pretty cool. Maybe one day you can get drafted up. W. We'll call it Eat That Dub, just for Nick. But yeah, abundance of unique flavors, Palm Bomb, Tiger's Blood, Peach and Beach, some cool stuff over there. They pride themselves on 100% full ingredient disclosure and transparency. So check them out at w.gg or download their mobile app on whatever app store you use, Apple or Android. Just search Dubby, D-U-B-B-Y, they'll be there. And of course, you can use the code DRAFTEDUP for a 10% discount on any purchase. It could be your first, it could be your 10th, it can be your 77th. But the code will work no matter what. So support our friends over at Dubby Energy. Be better with Dubby and eat that dub.
Order number 77. What an oddly specific order number for our Dubby purchasers.
Yeah.
77 orders strong.
What would our Dubby flavor be?
Oh my god. I couldn't even tell you, dude. It's, man, something blue. I like blue stuff.
Blue? I was going to say, give us one of those weird milk ones that they're doing with s'mores and give us like a caramel latte.
Hey, man, that'd be pretty good. The little chocolate peanut butter action in that?
Yeah.
With
Ooh,
milk?
yeah, chocolate peanut butter. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Hell yeah, doggy.
All right. Mock draft. Let's share the screen here.
You want to explain how we did the draft order?
Yeah. Let me get the screen shared first. So I'd shift my focus to that. All right. So, draft order, we determined it via the betting odds for the NFL draft. So, the team with the worst odds to win the Super Bowl, they draft first. And as you can see on the screen, that is the New Orleans Saints. So, that's how we determine our order. Just go in reverse to best for Super Bowl odds. Figured that was easier instead of whatever the draft simulator had it randomized as. So, that's just how we did it. So, you ready to start this thing?
Oh yeah, dude.
All right. So, people watching, you'll see like Arch Manning is here, and myself and Nick, we don't think Arch Manning is going to be in the 2026 draft. So we are not going to include him. So if you're watching, just like, why aren't they drafting Arch Manning? Or you're listening and like, why is Arch Manning not off the board? He's not in the draft. We also don't think like Lenore Sellers is coming out, so we will not include him either. Same with Sam Levitt and Nico Lavia. I don't have the pronunciation in front of me.
That was close enough. Close enough.
So Nico, I'm gonna leave you out of this mock draft.
So New Orleans being one, that's a interesting predicament for them. Does that mean the Tyler Shuck experiment second round pick just absolutely failed for them? Or do you think they'd be giving him another year quarterback?
I wouldn't say it necessarily failed. I just don't think New Orleans has a great roster to begin with.
I agree.
But if they are drafting one, like, I love Tyler Shuck, but if they have the first pick, they're going to take a quarterback and try to get the franchise guy in there and maybe have a little competition. Maybe Shuck wins it out and then they can move Shuck or figure something out. Maybe they try to trade this pick. I don't know. We're not going to do trades.
Just going to bring that up, that it would be insane for us to do a trade in this early mock draft, but Cleveland's sitting behind them. If Cleveland really wants whatever quarterback they want because they have the extra picks, it wouldn't be insane to move up the 1 from 2 just to get your guy, because if New Orleans takes your quarterback and you're dead set on one of them, then you're in an interesting pot for Cleveland, because I don't think the franchise quarterback's on that team right now.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think we're going to see everybody for Cleveland. We'll get to them on their pick. But I think Dylan Gabriel's going to get some time this year. I think Shador's even going to get some time.
I think Flacco's going to start.
Flacco or Pickett's going to start. The other one's not going to be on the team.
I agree. I think it's going to be Flacco. I think I'm pretty set Flacco's going to be the starting quarterback for the Browns, probably up until around Thanksgiving. And then after that, I think we're going to get a mix of Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. So if you got guys like David Njoku and Jerry Jeudy who are going off with Joe Flacco, this is getting off on a tangent. You got to trade them, because once Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur come in, I don't think they're going to be much value in the fantasy world.
Yeah. All right. So Saints, though, so we're going to keep them at 1. Do you think they would roll with Shuck and try to go somewhere else? Because there's some talented dudes at the top of the draft. I think Peter Woods and TJ Parker out of Clemson are great prospects. Peter Woods might be my number 1 really early top board guy. I think he has the potential to be an all-world interior defensive lineman, similar to like Chris Jones. Like, I think he has that sort of build and play style. Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State, also really good, but not a position of
Yeah.
value. Like I think Caleb Downs is great. I think he's going to be a top 5 guy in this class, but I don't know if he goes top 5. I think we
I
might see
agree.
him down towards like 8 through 14.
The world where he goes top 5, everything has to go right for him. He has to have an amazing season. He has to test out of the roof at the combine and his pro day. And then he just has to nail every interview. It's so hard for a safety to be drafted that high. Just in today's NFL, even elite safeties fall to the late first round. It happens every single year.
The last safety drafted in the top 5 and top 10 actually is Jamal Adams, and he went 5. And that was back in 2017. So it's been
it was a while ago.
minute.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know if Downs will test that well. I think he'll test fine, but I don't think he's better than like a 4 or 5 guy. And because
I agree.
look at Eamon Worry.
Yeah.
He ran 4.3 and he fell to the second round.
It's because his tape was iffy. I don't think Downs' tape's going to be iffy at all this year.
And then Malachi Starks had good tape, tested poorly, and he was a late first round pick. Kyle Hamilton, who was a great safety prospect, fell late in his draft. So, so I don't think Caleb Downs is in the question, but I do think it would be one of the quarterbacks being Klubnik or Nussmeier.
If it's not one of the quarterbacks, you do also have 2 offensive linemen that I'm really high on in this draft. You got the kid from Miami, Francis. I'm not even going to try.
Muioa.
Yes, and then you got Caden Protect from Alabama as well, who I think...
I also like the kid from Utah, Fanu.
Yeah,
Fanu,
for sure.
Big. It's some big
Spencer
boys
Fanu.
in this draft.
Yeah, the kid from Bama, dude, he's huge. What is he, 6'7", 370?
370, yeah.
Yeah, huge, dude.
But here's the thing,
body.
New Orleans,
Just
they
to
drafted...
try to protect Shuck. If they're set on Shuck, you got to keep him upright.
Yeah, and then obviously they drafted Kelvin Banks this past year, so he would lock down either the left or right side. So it would give you the option, and then it would move on from whoever. Oh, they also have Talise Fuaga. So I don't even know if they'd be looking at tackle unless they want to kick
You could
Kelvin
slide
Banks
Fuanga
inside.
You could slide Fuanga in too.
I think Fuanga's locked in as their left tackle. I think
I
Banks
agree,
would be the
but
one
if you're
that
more
would move.
comfortable with Banks, if Banks performs well, I think they would end up going quarterback though.
Yeah. Nussmeier, the connections there. His dad is on the coaching staff.
I think that's the pick.
That makes it the real obvious pick, and they would know. And it would be a little worrisome if they would end up passing on Nussmeier. Like, what's that say? Obviously, his dad doesn't have full say of things. It's Kellen Moore's team, and Kellen Moore likes Cade Klubnik, and then Kellen Moore goes with that. But Nussmeier, we brought up in the episode, he gives me those Tony Romo vibes. Baker Mayfield, also a good comp for him. I think he'd be a good fit for Kellen Moore.
Yeah, he's not like Hurts or any of the guys Kellen Moore's really good with, but Kellen Moore did with Dak, and Dak's pretty much a pocket pass quarterback, so we know Kellen Moore can do it with both. He did it with Herbert as well. Herbert has legs, though. He can move. He's a little sneaky.
Yeah, I would say Nussmeier's on par athleticism-wise as Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I would say Dak. I would say Herbert's a little bit more athletic.
Klubnik's the better athlete, so
for sure.
He would fit that style a little more.
I think Nussmeier's taken the step this year. I think he's going to be the first quarterback taken if Arch does not come out. And like you said, his dad's on the coaching staff. It literally lined up perfectly to have Nussmeier go 1 here.
I agree. All right, we'll lock him in there. Garrett Nussmeier going 1, quarterback out of LSU to the New Orleans Saints. Putting Cleveland, the Browns up at number 2. Same boat. I think if the Browns are drafting 2, they're going to be looking at quarterback. Obviously, I would love to get them an offensive tackle here, being one of the 3 guys we talked about. But I think one of those guys makes it to their second pick, which is also in the top 10.
Yeah, I think it is 10, right? 9, 10, something like that.
Yeah, it is 9 or 10. It is 9.
So yeah, the Browns are sitting pretty here with 2 and 9. If the draft order does fall this way, obviously it's just betting odds. And they have Jacksonville's pick from the Travis Hunter trade. Yeah, man, I think they're going quarterback. Like I said, I don't think Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel is the franchise guy, and I think they know that. Kevin Stefanski is one of the best coaches in football. He's going to know at some point early that those guys just aren't it. So I think he's going to pull the trigger here with Klubnik or Drew Aller.
Yeah,
it can go either way.
there was a lot of early buzz that if Drew Aller had come out, the Browns would have taken him at 2. So he's now here. I would lean Klubnik more. I like Klubnik's
I
tape a
think
little
he
more.
fits that system more, dude. He's
Yeah.
more of like a Stefanski kind of guy.
I agree.
Where Drew Aller, he pushes the ball. Where Stefanski wants a guy that can go in there, run the offense to a T, make every single read, every single option. And that's Klubnik. Klubnik can go out there and do everything mentally to a T, and it's not even going to miss a step from Clemson to the next level at the pros. I would lead Klubnik over Drew Aller at this spot for the Browns.
Yeah, I also would roll with Cade Klubnik, and obviously it gives Stefanski a little bit better athlete too. He's never really had a pocket passer who also can scoot a little bit, and Klubnik, sneaky good athlete. But yeah, I like Klubnik to Clemson quarterback to the Browns. Now, your New York Football Giants are on the clock at 3. Quarterback's out of the question. They drafted Jackson Dart.
Agree.
I actually think we're going to see a good amount of Jackson Dart this year, and there's been some buzz coming out that Jackson Dart's clearly like the best guy so far in early OTAs and whatnot. It really just depends on record and how well Russ is playing. But I think there's a chance Jackson Dart starts 10-plus games this year for you guys.
Yeah, we have a really rough schedule, so we're not going to be in competition, I don't believe, in any point in this year. It's kind of like the Browns. I think at latest, I think Jackson Dart's in after Thanksgiving, and then he's going to play from there on out. He could get in before that, to be honest. If we're really bad and Jackson Dart's ready, and some of the reports are coming out that he's taken like a great step just in OTAs as of right now, and he's only been there a couple weeks. So if you get a full camp under your belt and you show that you're ready, Jackson Dart could be out there pretty early.
Yeah, I don't know your guys' schedule off the top of my dome, but if you have like a Thursday game, like an early Thursday game, I could see him being the starter then the following week, because that gives him a week and a half of prep time
to rep. Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know if that is a scenario. I know you guys have a late bye week, so after the bye, I think he definitely is going to be the starting quarterback post bye, unless you guys are somehow in the playoff hunt. But for sure. I think that's unlikely. So, edge rusher probably off the board with Abdul Carter coming in. Plus, you have Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. So I like Peter Woods. Like I said,
I would say Peter Woods and the 2 offensive linemen or 3 offensive linemen are
paired next to Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence also, I think, a Clemson guy. So I think that's a lethal combination. But I also like. You have to find an upgrade at left tackle, especially trying to keep Jackson Dart upright. You have Andrew Thomas locked in left tackle.
Yeah,
locked and loaded there. Right tackle's question. Yeah. You have Illuminor. You've got Evan Neal, and none of them guys are locked and loaded franchise right tackles. So Spencer Fanu, Francis Muioa, and Caden Proctor. I think that's where I would lean towards here. Even with Peter Woods on the board.
Passing on Peter Woods kills me. Because that also puts Alexander, the kid we drafted in the second, in his best position as a rotating defensive tackle with Sexy Dexy and Peter Woods and an elite defensive end crew. It's just stacking our defensive line to even be scarier. But I kind of agree you got to protect Jackson Dart at some point. And our offensive line isn't going to cut it necessarily, so... I would lean Francis Maluagu if I had to pick one of the offensive linemen.
Muioa right now is my favorite of the 3 guys.
I agree.
Yeah. And then I would probably say Spencer Fanu. Caden Proctor's size worries me a little bit, being 370. It's not exactly something I am thrilled with, even though he has the body and the frame to carry that.
But I need to see durability stuff. I need to see that you're going to be able to play at a high level for all 4 quarters for 18 games. That's what I'm going to need to see out of Proctor this year. Just stay out there, be healthy, be good late in games, don't fade away. Show me that you're able to hold this weight well, and I think he'll be able to do that.
Yeah, and Francis Muioa, true right tackle right now. I don't know if he's going to be playing left this year for the Hurricanes, but ton of starts and experience, as you can see here if you're watching. 913 snaps and 866 snaps the year before at right tackle. I think Muioa is the route to go here for you guys.
I agree.
All right, so lock it in. Francis Muioa, the right tackle from your Miami Hurricanes, going to your New York Giants.
Hell yeah, dog.
New York Jets on the clock next here at 4. You think quarterbacks in play here? Drew Aller? Like, if the Jets are picking top 5,
Yeah, I mean, Justin Fields did not hold up to his end of the bargain this year.
yeah, like Justin Fields may have
100%.
played okay, but picking top 5, clearly, like, he wasn't winning games. Like, he could put up fine numbers, but you want a guy who's going to go out there and win football games. I don't necessarily know if Drew Aller is a much a bigger upgrade, because Aller, a big question is, can he win big games, and he hasn't yet.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does this year, I do think this is the range he ends up going, but that's a big if, because it hasn't been done yet. But I think that's the talking point.
I know we talked about how Caleb Downs isn't going to go top 5, but it kind of lines up here. Aaron Glenn, defensive back coach. You have a team that you know they're willing to draft a safety high. They did it with Jamal Adams. They're the last team to do it.
Yeah, and it didn't work for them. They traded him.
Yeah, and they got banked. They got like 3 first-round picks for him.
They did get a good amount. You
They
don't
got
think
so much for him, and he performed so well for them when he was there. Dude. He was an all-pro.
You don't think they look at Peter Woods to pair him with Quinnen Williams?
I mean, I like that. But I mean, I also like Drew Aller. I think the Jets could lean multiple ways here. I don't think they'd be comfortable running back Justin Fields if they're picking pick 4, though. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I agree, and that's why I think Aller would be where I'd lean, especially with the top 4 pick. I think, like, I think replacing Justin Fields then has to be your...
Aaron Glenn doesn't want to be drafting this high next year. I can tell you that much. So this could be the only opportunity for them to get a franchise quarterback.
Yep.
So, yeah, man. Lock in Drew Aller. I'm cool with that.
Drew Aller.
Yeah.
All right. Quarterback from Penn State, Drew Aller.
And this is showing what kind of draft class the quarterbacks can be, dude. We've had 3 gone in the top 4, and that's without Arch, without Sellers, 2 kids that could possibly take the step to be the number 1 quarterback in the class.
Yeah.
So this we talked about it in the summer scouts for quarterbacks. This draft class for quarterbacks could be loaded if it all falls the right way.
Yep. Tennessee Titans are up next here, picking 5. No quarterback, obviously. They drafted Cam Ward. Would love to look at a weapon here, but I
think any of the receivers are going to go this early.
I like Jordan Tyson, but I think if he goes top 10, it'll be 9 as his like ceiling. So I don't think, but I think Peter Woods is the option here. Peter Woods paired next to Jeffrey Simmons, and just create havoc on the interior, make life hell for, Trevor Lawrence and CJ Stroud and whoever Indianapolis's quarterback is going to be in 2026. So, like, I would go Peter Woods. I think the Titans lean defense here, try to snag a weapon, or maybe they have faith in Ayu Manor and Chimera Duque going into the following season.
I think they'll have faith in those guys for a good amount, but you can't pass on Peter Woods at this point.
Yeah.
Like, he's a guy that can be added to that defensive line and just shore up that middle of the defensive line. And those guys are hard to come by. And you're getting him at 5. Like, look at Mason Graham this year. He was talked about that he could easily do it, and he went, 3 or 4? Blanking on when Mason Graham went.
He went 5, because that's where the Jaguars were.
So he fell to 5, and I think that's where Peter Woods is going to fall. It's going to be around 4 to 5, just based off quarterbacks, and it's going to be a steal in my eyes. He's phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, he's an incredible football player. I can't wait to do a deep dive into him. All right, Carolina picking at 6. Caleb Downs. I don't know what their secondary's looking like.
I think he enters the realm here for sure. And like you said, I don't think any weapons are going to go here. They took Tet. They've taken Leggett. They've taken 2 receivers the last 2 years in the first round. So I don't think receivers on the board at all. Their running back room is crowded, so I don't think running back's an option. I really don't see them upgrading a tight end. It's not really worth it. And as far as I'm concerned, there's not a first-round tight end yet in this class.
Yeah,
So
I like the kid from Vandy, Eli Stowers. The kid from
fine.
Georgia is also pretty good, but I think they're late first round guys if they're gonna.
What about an
go in
lineman? Keep Bryce up on his feet.
Yeah, they've spent a ton of money in free agency shoring up their offensive line. They got 2 good tackles. They drafted Ike Ekwonu a few years ago. Taylor Moton, one of the better right tackles in football. I don't know what Ike's contract's looking like. Safeties are pretty thin on. Trevor Mowering, they brought in free agency. Damani Richardson's their other starter. They got Caleb Downs' running mate, Latham Ransom, as the backup.
I like him a lot. He was fun this year.
They could use a good corner crew coming out here.
I don't think they'd pass on Downs to go corner, though. Like, I don't think they would go McCoy
I agree.
or Terrell or Muhammad. I don't think they would go any of those guys over Downs. I think Downs is probably the pick after going over their secondary.
TJ Parker also on the board, edge rusher, but Carolina did a really good job this past draft bringing in edge guys. They got Princely, Uman Mielen, and another edge rusher who's slipping my mind. What's his name, Nick?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, me either.
Imagine if they still had Brian Burns on that team.
Yeah, for sure. Did the screen stop sharing? Can you see the screen?
No, it went away for sure.
Okay. Let me. Because I was gonna say it went away on my end too.
But I think Downs makes a lot of sense here. At some point, you got to start picking up on secondary guys. Your corners aren't that great. Your safeties aren't that great. It's a passing league in the NFL. You got to stop these high-powered offenses. And you're playing in a division that has Baker Mayfield, Michael Penix Jr., who's going to go out there and sling the rock this year for Atlanta. And then Tyler Shucks, obviously, the other quarterback. But those aren't any slouches. You need to get secondary on this team fast, and I think that's their weakest point. And you're getting by far the best secondary guy in the class, maybe the best defensive guy in the class, possibly the best guy in the class.
I think you can make a case that Caleb Downs is the best player in the 2026 class.
For sure.
I'm cool with it. Yeah, let's go Caleb Downs to Carolina at 6. Carolina's also done like a really good job of kind of putting themselves in the position where they can kind of draft freely. They've been drafting really well.
Yep,
here
they can draft
lately.
BPA if need be.
Yeah. It would be nice if my internet would work. My simulator is going to crash. So I might have to re-put these in. Better to crash early.
Clicking. Good podcasting.
Oakland. Vegas is up next at 7.
So we can see TJ Parker here. We can see one of the corners possibly. We talked about the good corner class being Gerard McCoy, Terrell from Clemson, Muhammad from Texas, Harris from Penn State. These guys are all possibly all going to be first-round picks. That's 4 or 5 corners going in the first.
Yeah, so. I think the corner class is really good. A ton of upside and potential.
I think Vegas has a pretty underrated offensive line, but there's still good offensive linemen on the board.
Agree.
With Fanu and Protect.
They drafted Charles Grant as well this past draft class.
Now, I know it would be a reach just based off of this guy's last season, and we talked about how there's probably not a receiver that's going to go in the first round, but Nick Harbor from South Carolina has DK Metcalf written all over him.
Is Al Davis back from the grave?
No,
to draft Nick Harbor?
He's 6'5", 235, and he's going to run a 4.3. He's going to run out of the building. And he's huge. He's literally like, look at DK Metcalf's stats in college at Ole Miss. His career high was 39 catches, 600 yards, and 7 tutties.
No, I know, but
and so his stats aren't there. So Nick Harbor doesn't have to go out there and put up 1,000 yards to be a first round pick, just based off of his size. Like, if you look at a lot of these guys in this class, there are a lot of slot guys in this class again. And for Oakland to have that big body receiver, like they have Jack Besh, who I think's a good short intermediate route runner.
Jack Besh, who's a backup, and Deontay Thornton right now is listed
insane.
as the starting, but that's because he's huge. Deontay Thornton's 6'5" and runs a 4.3, and that's what
Nick
playing
the outside.
Is.
Yeah. They have him playing the outside, so that's why I get why Thornton's running with the first team over Beck. They have him on the outside with Myers, and then they have Trey Tucker as their slot, I believe.
Yeah, Trey Tucker.
I believe they're still rocking with him as their slot. So
hell yeah,
we'll see what happens out there in Vegas. But I think Beck eventually gets on the field.
Okay, I got the simulator back up, but I
truly doubt that. Speaking of camp reports, just to get off topic and waste a little bit of time,
back up.
Have you heard any of the reports about Malachi Corley?
No,
he might not make the team.
That's not. I mean, I shouldn't say that's not surprising, but
craziest second-round pick last year, and for him to already be
new regime. So
Jalen Polk's in the same boat, though.
Who's that?
Polk, New England's receiver.
Oh yeah, I've heard about Jalen Polk and
his reports that he might not even make that team, and another second-round receiver with new coaches that are just like, dude, if you're not going to perform, we have a crowded room of just guys that are equal. You're gonna get cut. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, dude. But somehow Jalen Hyatt's still on the Giants, and that doesn't make any sense to me.
Jalen Hyatt bulked up, baby.
Yeah, sure, bulked up just to not play again.
He's also banged up again too, which
he is,
which is the case with Jalen Hyatt.
I honestly don't think he's going to make our team.
That's a shame. I like Jalen Hyatt. I think he would find a nice home though in the league.
He'll get another go around. I mean, he's no Cedric Tillman, so we messed that one up.
Whoa, not me.
I said the Giants. Yeah. I said the Giants.
Okay. I thought you meant we as.
Calm down. I wasn't high on either of them.
I loved Cedric Tillman. He was a Theo guy, still is. Bear with me here. I'm fixing the draft order because it reset, so it went back to the original order. But talk of Vegas here. Nick Harbor's interesting. I'll give you that. I couldn't bring myself to take him over Jordan Tyson, though, who I think has wide receiver 1 potential, and I think he's the only guy in the class right now, in my eyes, who is a wide receiver 1. I think everybody else in the class is a wide receiver 2.
I really like Denzel Boston out of Washington. He's probably my wide receiver 1 as of right now. I like him a lot. But yeah, we'll talk Vegas real quick. So like we said, they have a really underrated offensive line, so I don't think Protect or Fano is on the board. I think a lot of the corners are on the board. We talked about them. Ruben Bain, if he possibly comes out, I know he's really young. He could stay in college. Defensive end from Miami. But he's a freak, dude. His high school career, he had 77 sacks in high school, led them to 4 state championships in Miami, and then went to Miami over Georgia because he wanted to play at hometown. And he had an amazing freshman year with almost 8 sacks as a freshman, made the all-freshman team, came out this year, had another decent year. Not like his freshman year was a big step back, but he played in less games. He was a little bit banged up. So I'm super excited about Brian Bain this year. Jack Slaughter, the center from Florida, he's fun to talk about. He's a center, so I don't know how early he's going to go. He's definitely not going to go 7 here to Vegas, but he's a guy that can be coming up sooner rather than later for a center, which is super impressive in today's age.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, for sure. He's a dog, dude. He will get out there and he'll do anything that you need for a team. Vegas, obviously, we're not going to go running back, but I'll quick talk about Jeremiah Love. He's Notre Dame's running back. Probably going to be the number 1 running back in the class. Most likely the Penn State kids are really good, so that's fun. Just trying to waste time here. They're definitely not going tight end.
Yeah, I would lean TJ Parker here.
Defensive end?
Yeah. Just keep shoring up. Because, Tyree Wilson, that looks like that just isn't going to work. Wilson's not going to pan out. He's definitely not going to hit that. And Parker's big, dude. He's like 6'3", 6'4", 260. Amazing year last year at Clemson with 12 sacks. Yeah, big upgrade from his freshman year. But his freshman year he had 6 sacks, so you've seen it there. And then he took the step forward to get 12.
So even if he doesn't hit the 12 sack mark this year, but he still is pushing it, he's going to be one of the top defensive end prospects in the class.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be cool with TJ Parker here.
That's where I would lean here for the Raiders. So TJ Parker off the board, Clemson edge rusher to Las Vegas.
So many Clemson guys in this class.
Yeah.
Clemson's going to be killer this year, dude. I'm excited to watch them.
Yeah. Ton of good talent. They got a decent receiver, Antonio Williams. Probably not a first-round guy.
Probably not.
But him with Cade Klubnik, their defense is great. They got Peter Woods, who we already talked about. Avian Terrell, AJ Terrell's younger brother. He's their starting corner. I think he's one of the top 5 corners in this class.
I'd probably have me at 2 or 3. Yeah.
So he's going to be here, and then obviously TJ Parker as well. That puts Indianapolis on the clock, and the board has not fallen nicely for them. It would be a reach to go quarterback here. I don't think Carson Beck or Fernando Mendoza is going to warrant any sort of top 10 buzz.
I think Danny Jones is just going to be this team's quarterback for the next 2 years. I just really see that happening.
Yeah.
Not that that's good, but I think he's going to be the bridge quarterback they roll with. I don't think they get a quarterback this year. I think they're not going to be good, but they're not going to be bad enough to get one. It's going to be this exact same scenario for the Colts. But I think next year they're going, I think 2027 is going to be the Colts push for a quarterback. Being if it's Arch, if it's Sellers, if Nico takes that step, or if there's just another quarterback that we haven't talked about yet, because that's how college goes. 1-year guys take the leap in the first round all the time.
Yeah, so what do we want to look here for Indy?
You can refurbish the offensive line. It kind of got pleated. You guys went through and stole half their offensive line this year.
We did. For sure. Is the screen back up for you?
Screen's back for me, baby.
Hell yeah. I do think right tackle is in play here, being Spencer Fanu or Caden Proctor for the Colts.
I would probably lean Fanu if I had to go offensive line for them. He's more of their offensive line. He's smaller than Protector, but he's still fast enough to get out to the edge, set the block, get out there and block for Jonathan Taylor.
Better athlete for sure.
For
6'6", 302 compared to 6'7", 370. So Fanu would be where I would go, and then I would look at the corners, McCoy or Terrell or AJ Harris here. They have Taylor Bellini. I was gonna say Jake Slaughter might be in play as well, but I think
it's still a little too early at 8 for a second.
I think getting a right tackle is more important.
Yeah, I don't think you pass up on one of these tackles.
Indianapolis.
I agree.
We're gonna go Spencer Fanu, the tackle from Utah, putting the Browns on the clock, and one of the tackles is still there in Caden Proctor. Does that worry you because they have DeJuan Jones, who's similar, just a large human being?
I don't, because that shows you that the Browns don't really care about, like, if you're big and you're just good enough out there on your feet to protect.
Well, DeJuan Jones has not been good enough. He's been
but bad. I don't think that's going to show if Protector can show that he's capable of doing that this year. Because last year he took 600 snaps, but the year before that he took 800, so he went down in snaps, which you don't like to see. But he played 3 less games. So that definitely plays in. If he would have played those 3 games, he would have been probably close to 800 snaps.
Yeah.
So if he can come out here and show me that you can push another 800 snaps this year for Bama, I'm not worried about your durability.
Yeah. So lock in, get our franchise tackle to pair with our franchise quarterback here in Cleveland, Caden Proctor, pairing with Cade Klubnik. Proctor, the offensive tackle from Alabama. Miami's up at 10. I think this is where we got to look corner. Avian Terrell, Jermod McCoy.
It doesn't matter which one we really go with. Miami is so depleted at cornerback. They just need bodies, dude. So it's essentially whatever cornerback you think is going to be the number 1 in the class. At the end of the day, I think with how Clemson's defense is going to perform this year, I think Terrell's going to take the top spot.
I agree. Right now, like early on, Avian Terrell is where I'd lean as top corner. He's really twitchy, really physical.
Yep.
Plays tough competition. He can tackle. Yeah, so let's go Avian Terrell here, corner from Clemson to Miami. Putting the Rams on the clock with their first of two picks. This is the Atlanta Falcons pick. Jeremiah Love would be interesting here. I know I've been pushing the Jarquez Hunter agenda for the LA Rams, but if Kyron Williams isn't re-signed and Jeremiah Love's on the board, I think that might be tough for them to turn down, but kind of a luxury pick for them. I don't know if that's how they go. I think they like Hunter and Corum.
I agree. I honestly think Kyron Williams is going to get a contract soon. From everything I've heard, contract negotiations have improved, but we've heard that twice now for the Kyron Williams side. Yeah. So I just think it's going to happen at some point. I think Sean McVay loves that guy so much, and he's so effective around the goal line and just in the red zone in general. He's so good, dude. I love Kyron. I have him super high ranked this year. I think he's back with the Rams come the next 3-4 years.
Okay. Receiver would be interesting here. I wouldn't rule that out. Jordan Tyson to pair with, Devontae Adams, who's aging, and then a youngster in Puka Nacua.
Who's also always hurt, though. So,
Yeah.
Puka's not the most reliable guy. He's already shown that through college and his last 2 years in the pros.
I also would say Jake Slaughter's in play here. I think the Rams are pretty weak at center.
I would say an offensive line's definitely in play. I know they're constantly going defensive line, but the Rams love picking defensive linemen, so it wouldn't shock me if they try to add just another one here, just to keep solidifying that defensive line.
Yeah, they brought in Coleman Shelton, the Bears' old center, is now their center, so they could use.
There was a reason the Bears went out and replaced him super quick.
Yes.
So
yeah. So I like Jake Slaughter here. I also like Jordan Tyson, Arizona State wide receiver. So where do you want to go? One of those two guys.
I would probably lean Tyson over Slaughter. Just a center at 11, still just a tiny bit early for me.
There's honestly a chance Slaughter's there with their other first because
exactly, and that's what I would try to risk position. It. If Tyson's their number one receiver, I think they would just pick him over the center.
I like that. Seattle now on the clock at 12. I kind of want to go Jeremiah Love here. Kenneth Walker, free agent next year. This is the last year of his deal. Can't stay healthy. Zach Charbonnet, he's not a
Charbonnet's also a free agent, isn't he?
Yeah. Who? Charbonnet?
Charbonnet.
Oh,
I think they're both
for sure
free
Kenneth
agents.
Walker is. I mean, if Charbonnet also is, I think Love to Seattle's a great bet. I know.
Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure Charbonnet and Walker are both free agents because I know Damian Martinez, I'm pretty sure, has a spot to take the starting job come next season. I thought I heard that somewhere. Because I love Damian Martinez, so I'm all in for that. But Love's here, dude.
Jeremiah Love would be the perfect complement with Damian Martinez. Because I don't necessarily think Love is a bell cow back. I don't think he can handle the workload. He's never had more than 10, 15 touches in a game.
Yeah.
In college, and he's been Charbonnet is a free agent in 2026, so he has 2 years left on his deal.
Okay.
So Walker's done next year, and then Charbonnet the year after that. But I think you let Ken Walker go. He's banged up, and in this scenario, Jeremiah Love falls into your lap, and I think that's perfect to pair with Charbonnet and Damian Martinez because he's different than both those guys.
Yeah, I don't love Ken Walker. I haven't really ever, and he's always banged up, so I don't think he gets the deal that Kyron's going to get. And I need to see Love being able to get down and get a little more attempts. He played in 16 games last year and had 160 attempts. That's only 10 a game. Though. And that's the thing.
Because Notre Dame just loves running a committee.
I know.
Obviously, they're going to lose Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard had a ton of carries there. So
for sure.
I do think Jeremiah Love is going to get to 200 carries this year. And we'll see how he holds up. He was banged up this year. He had a knee injury at the end of the year where his carries, he didn't even break 10. Yeah.
I want to see him push 180, 185, though. Yeah. I want to see that.
Where would you rank Love if he was in last year's class? Well, this past draft. Yeah, obviously, I'm not going to take him over Janty. I'm not taking him over Hampton. I would probably have him in the same bucket as Caleb
wouldn't.
Johnson and Travion Henderson.
I would have him under Judkins, Johnson, and Henderson. So
Okay,
he'd
so
probably be in like 6.
You're a little lower. I mean,
I'm not as high on Love. I like
Yeah.
Love. I don't think the durability is going to be there. I see him as like a change of pace back in the NFL, which there's a huge role for that, 100%, and I do get it.
Yeah.
I just don't think I would take him in the early first round.
Okay, so you don't want to go him here
No,
to
I'm
Seattle?
cool taking him here because it's a great
Okay.
fit to Seattle, and
Okay.
I don't think Seattle would shy away from a talent like this.
Yeah. and
Especially with you have Sam Darnold, you possibly have Jalen Milroe, so you need to develop a run game because those guys aren't going to carry you through the air.
All right. So Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame running back, 12 to Seattle, putting the Arizona Cardinals up at 13. Would love to go receiver here, but
I think secondary's an option. I know they got Will Johnson, but
yeah, Will Johnson to pair with. They have a good nickel corner, Garrett Williams, but none of these receivers really pop out at me. Like,
what about
I
Brian
love the
Bain?
I love the upside
Ruben Bain.
of Eugene Wilson.
Eugene Wilson. I like Eugene Wilson a
I
lot.
can't wait to watch him with DJ Lagway in Florida this year. I think that's going to be fun. Like I think there's a chance that we could be talking about Eugene Wilson as a first round receiver, but it would take a lot of just projecting on his end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Offensive line would also be nice here, but yeah, Ruben Bain might just be too good to pass up.
Yeah, he can get you that defensive end that kind of you need an every down like defensive end, and Bain can be that. If he takes another step forward for Miami, there's a good chance he's just not even on the board at this point in the draft.
Yeah.
He could go way earlier than this.
You know, a down year, he missed some time this past year, but
He took a step back this year because he was
9
hurt.
sacks in 2023, only 4
As a
last
true
year,
freshman.
but yeah. But he gets after the quarterback. He had 20 hurries in 9 games compared to 26 and 13. So
he's a freak, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there, and I think get Jonathan Gannon, getting him another edge rusher. I wouldn't rule that out there. I like that. Pairs well there. They drafted Walter Nolan, so continue to build the defense. I like that. Ruben Bain, Jr., the edge rusher from Miami of Florida,
He's
going
so young
13
too. He's
to
so
Arizona. New England up at 14. This would be great for the Patriots. You know, they would be thrilled if they were drafting 14. That means Drake May took the step forward because, you know, last year they drafted 3. So that's a 10 spot improvement. I think this is where we talk about Jake Slaughter. They signed Garrett Bradbury, but
I agree.
Garrett Bradbury is not.
Oh, wait, no. Did they draft the kid from Georgia?
Oh, they did draft Jared Wilson. You're right.
He's going to be their center. Jared Wilson's going to be their center, not this year, but next season.
For the future,
he needs that 1 year. For sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they did bring in Jared Wilson. They did, yeah. All right, so
secondary.
Would love to get a guard. They got a good secondary. You know, they drafted your boy Craig Woodson, who's going to back up Jabril Peppers. Kyle Duggar's there. They signed Carlton Davis.
I forgot Peppers was still there.
Christian Gonzalez also there. Marcus
Gonzalez
Jones
is so good, dude.
Marcus Jones, really good nickel corner. I do think we could go secondary, especially just because how deep the class is. So Patriots kind of get a little luxury pick, go BPA. So I don't hate going with AJ Harris or Jermod McCoy here, or even Malik Muhammad. I don't like Muhammad as much as I like Harris and McCoy, but I think Muhammad could project. I think he's going to play the Jedi Barron role this year, so he could take that leap forward.
That step forward, yeah.
But I like Harris and McCoy a little bit more than I do Malik Muhammad.
Yeah, I'd probably lean McCoy if I had to go one of the secondary guys for New England. 6 foot, 295, so he's a little bit bigger.
My issue with McCoy is he tore his ACL in January, so I don't know how much time he's going to get this year. But I think he's the best floor player when he's healthy.
He could get Savon Revel, dude.
Yeah.
But that happened to Savon Revel. Savon Revel was the ultimate floor player at TCU, and he still went in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
So, I see what you're saying.
AJ Harris, this was his first year as a starter, 48 tackles, 5 pass breakups, had a pick. He plays tough players, and he's good, and he's versatile. I think he's the kind of plug-and-play boundary guy New England would be looking for here. And if McCoy didn't have the ACL injury in January, he'd be my my clear pick here.
Yeah,
But
I
I
see
think
what you're
with that,
saying.
you're going to be a little worried about the medicals, so I would lean AJ Harris.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right. AJ Harris, corner from Penn State, 14 in New England, putting the Dallas Cowboys up at 15. This would have been a great spot for Jeremiah Love, but uh, I like that we went a little different. I feel like that's chalk every year. Somebody just plugs a running back.
A running back in the Dallas now.
In the first round.
Who is their center now?
Cooper Beebe from
Kansas State. Right?
Yeah, that draft class, our first draft class, 2023.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
2024. It's 2025 now. Yeah, the 2023 draft class. Yeah, so I don't know if they go center unless they want to move Cooper Beebe to guard because they really like
everyone
Beebe.
listening is like, damn, these guys are really trying to get Slaughter off the board every single pick.
We are. He's a great football player, and
he's
like
so good, dude.
It's just he doesn't play a position of value, and
yeah,
Dallas isn't going to draft him and move Beebe to guard because they got Tyler Smith and they got Tyler Booker.
And their guards are set.
Yeah, like I think if anything, we look tackle here if we're going to draft a lineman.
I don't really think there's a tackle that I'd be comfortable taking here.
No, so what do we look? Dallas is always looking at interior defensive linemen, but edge rushers, they'd signed Dante Fowler, but they need somebody else to pair with Micah Parsons. So Keldrick Folks here. I like LT Overton from Alabama.
I would definitely look at the defensive side. What about Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker from Texas?
Linebacker, Texas, yeah. Dallas,
he's fun.
They're not afraid to take lackluster positions at like linebacker, and he fits.
And he can cover, dude. He covers really good for a linebacker. He's.
I don't know if he's in the simulator, but Ohio State has a really good linebacker. He was a safety. Like he started at safety at Ohio State. So this just isn't a guy they converted. Sonny Styles.
Is that Sonny Styles?
Yeah, he's down here.
He's in here. Yeah.
But I think he has first round potential. I obviously this is early, so you see he's really low on the simulator, but
yeah, he just needs to take that step.
Yeah, I think Harold Perkins is an interesting prospect. He's coming off the ACL injury as well, but
for sure. Yeah,
I like Anthony Hill. I think that's a nice little shout out there. I think Sonny Styles. I think we'll be looking at him sort of like we did Jahad Campbell. Like I think come like December, we're really going to be on Sonny Styles.
He's pushing up boards fast. Yeah.
But I'm cool projecting Anthony Hill here.
Cool. Yeah, I'm cool with that for sure.
All right, Anthony Hill, linebacker from Texas to the Cowboys. Pittsburgh's on the clock at 16, and
they need a center.
Can I talk? Can they need a center? Could I convince you that Fernando Mendoza goes here as the next quarterback up?
It's not going to be Rodgers. Rodgers already come out and said he signed a 1-year deal because he's probably done after this year.
Yeah.
And that makes sense to me. Fucking hang up the cleats, dude. It's time. It's truly time.
It's overdue, honestly.
So yeah, no, dude, you definitely talk me into a quarterback here easily.
Yeah. Like I know you would think Carson Beck, but I think Mendoza fits.
That's only if Carson Beck takes that step. I think he's going to take a step. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a first round type of step.
Yeah,
I think Carson Beck's going to go like second round.
Yeah, I think Mendoza really fits Arthur Smith.
I see that.
Yeah, I know you worry about his throwing motion. I agree. It's not ideal, but I think he takes a big step this year in Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's at Indiana, so he could play better college competition now. So 3,000 yards through the air, 1,000 on the ground, dude. Yeah, dude.
No,
run with Mendoza.
That's Mateer. Mateer's 1,000 on the ground.
Oh, I'm looking at Mateer at Oklahoma. Yeah. Go Mendoza.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's huge, dude.
Yeah.
6'5", big body.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith loves it.
Yeah. Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana.
And you know John who's going to be his tight end, so.
Maybe.
You know John who's going to be in Pittsburgh in the next couple weeks. It's going to happen. Just stop.
Yeah. The Bears up now at 17.
Off topic, though, but if John who goes to Pittsburgh, that takes out two of the later relevant tight ends for fantasy. That takes
Yeah.
out Jonnu and it takes out Pat Freiermuth. Both of them would be irrelevant in that system.
Yeah. Undraftable.
It would kill me because tight ends are already so weak, dude.
I would take the shot on Jonnu.
Oh, 100% over Freiermuth. It's not even close.
He's a better athlete and just what he did last year.
And Arthur Smith loves that guy, dude. If you're so gung-ho on getting him when you had him in Atlanta and you started him over first-round pick Kyle Pitts, it's just meant to be. He's your guy.
Bears here at 17.
Definitely not Slaughter.
Yeah,
we can take that one off the board for the Bears.
Yep. I'm thinking
the Bears are luxury, dude. If they're picking 17, they're thrilled, dude. That's a good year for Ben Johnson, for Caleb Williams, and that offense.
Yeah, I would say.
What about running back? You think a running back takes a step? They were constantly trying to get a running back last year, and teams just kept sniping every running back before them.
There's the thing, like Nicholas Singleton, I like him. I don't love him.
What about Taylor? What about your boy? You think Taylor takes a jump?
No, Darius. You're gonna love Darius Taylor.
I do.
Tell you that right
I already do. I already know I do.
He is Quinshawn Judkins.
Yeah, he's my kind of back.
But a much better pass catcher, but not as good as an athlete as Judkins. But no, I don't think Taylor is a first round talent. I think he's gonna be one of those guys who you snag day 2, day 3, and be fine with. I feel the same way about Katron Allen. I think Jaden Ott's going to be really good. Like, I think Jaden Ott was going to be a top 10 back in last year's class, but he had the ankle injury, just didn't play well, and now he transferred. This says he's still a Cal. He's in Oklahoma with John Mateer. Oklahoma's going to be really fun. I think Ott could take the step, but I don't know if any of these guys are first-round guys. And, like, Nicholas Singleton, he's fast, but he's a one-cut. Like, he'd be great for Kevin O'Connell. I don't know if he's going to be great for Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, so I would go edge rusher or safety here.
I would lean defense fully. I think they're stacked offensively. Receivers are stacked. They just got Loveland, so they're not going to go tight end. They could use a running back, but like you said, I don't think any of them are first-round guys at this point.
I really like Denny Dallas Sutton. He had 9 sacks last year, 23 hurries, 13 quarterback hits, and he went back to school. And now he gets a shine. And Penn State edge rushers usually produce. And he's going to get a chance to be the guy without Abdul Carter there. I really like Denny Dallas Sutton. I think he would have been a second-round guy if he came out last year. Like, I thought he was that good on tape. And now he gets to go back and kind of bolster himself into the first round.
That's what Penn State guys do, dude. They're freaks in the weight room, and it shows on the football field down there in Penn State. So... there's a good chance one of the two, because there's another one under him, Zane Durant.
Yeah, the interior defensive lineman.
Interior lineman. Yeah. There's a good chance both those guys are going first. One of them's going to go first. So, yeah, man, I would lock in one of the Penn State guys. I'd be cool with that.
We'll lock in Denny Dennis Sutton, edge rusher from Penn State.
Danny Sutton.
17 to the Bears. 18, the Denver Broncos up. Man, Jermon McCoy's still here. Could you imagine him with Pat Surtain and Jedi Perrin? That
already elite secondary, arguably the best defense in football.
The Broncos need a center. They actually do.
Oh, you know what that means, baby.
It's time to get our guy off the board.
Jake Slaughter.
Baby. Jake Slaughter here to Denver. Snapping the ball to our boy Bo Nix.
God bless Bo Nix, baby. Yeah. I'm so excited for the Broncos this year, dude.
Finally getting him off the board. Because I probably also would have pushed him for Minnesota, even though they signed Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly's a little older. He's 29, pushing 30. So Jake Slaughter would have been great for the Vikings. But we finally got him off the board. You don't have to hear us talk about Jake Slaughter anymore, the center from Florida. We got him locked in here to Denver at 18. Putting the Minnesota Vikings on the clock. I said Nicholas Singleton. I think he'd be great for Kevin O'Connell. 19's just a little too rich for me here for him. I would go Jermon McCoy here. Minnesota didn't draft a corner last year, and they still need help. And Minnesota, they're also not like they're one of the teams that like they don't really like let medicals like push too much into their opinions. So I think Jermon McCoy would be perfect with Brian Flores here in Minnesota if he's still even there in 2026.
What about the safety from Oregon as a little replacement?
Dylan Thieneman? I don't hate
He's
that.
played a lot. He's
Yeah,
played a
yeah,
lot the last 2 years, and now he's getting a third year under his belt there at Oregon.
yeah,
That's a lot of experience, dude. And
yeah,
I love that for college because if you're out there
yeah.
playing 3 years, 3 year starter almost, I fuck with that, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I like secondary for you guys regardless,
Yeah,
being safety or
I
corner.
do like Dylan Thieneman a lot as well, but I don't like him as much as Jerron McCoy.
I agree.
So
McCoy being here at 18 or whatever,
yeah,
pick it is 19. That's a good value.
I know I brought up the ACL, but like the plus side of the ACL tear was it happened in January, so there's a chance he does get on the field this year,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's going to be healthy for testing.
Yeah, he'll be
So
able to test.
He'll be a little ahead of like when Savon Ravel tore his. It was second, third game of the season, so he missed the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
But McCoy gets the luxury, so that's where I'm going to lean. Jermon McCoy, corner from Tennessee to the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh yeah.
Texans on the clock here at 20. Armaji Reed Adams, guard from Texas A&M. I think he'd be in play here for the Texans. I also wouldn't rule out one of the many edge rushers still on the board, or even your guy Zane Durant. Also,
that's where I would go. I would go trenches. I would go O-line to protect CJ Stroud because you literally got rid of your franchise left tackle this offseason, which does not make sense to me at all. And I think that was a horrendous move for Houston to just get rid of one of the elite linemen that's standing in front of CJ Stroud.
He was a bad work ethic. That's why.
Yeah, I get it, but who cares? Your franchise quarterback needs an offensive line in front of him.
I mean, they got Ariante Ursary, so chances are he'll be the left tackle at some point this year, and then going forward. So, right tackle Blake Fisher, they drafted him in 2023. There's a chance they still roll with him. So guards a potential. They did sign Laken Tomlinson, but he's up there in age, and Titus Howard is also getting up there. Interior, Tim Settle Jr. They could use an interior defensive lineman. So I don't hate Zane Durant here.
Yeah, I would go definitely.
The kid from Florida is also pretty good.
Caleb Banks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Banks more than Simulator does. I think Banks could be a first round dude. I
think Banks could fall into the first for sure.
Yeah, I think he takes that step this year and just absolutely balls out here for Florida. He's huge, 6'6", 329.
I'd probably lean Durant over him just based
Durant
off
is more polished. He gives you a little more pass rush as well. He's a little bit under 300.
Yeah, he's quicker, he's faster, and he's coming from that Penn State weight room, which I'll trust over any weight room in the nation.
I'm cool. Let's lock it in. Zane Durant, interior defensive lineman of the Texans at 20, putting the Bucks up at 21.
So essentially a luxury pick, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you.
With Antoine Winfield Jr. That's spicy, baby.
I do like that a lot for sure. And the Bucks, that's just what they needed last year. Essentially, they just need defense. Their offense is stacked, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Their O line's gonna get the job done. Baker's elite at this point. He's got four really good receivers that are gonna get the job done. A tight end that's good. 2 really good running backs. And they love Sean Tucker, dude. So in their eyes, they have 3 good running backs. So Tampa's stacked offensively.
Yeah. Deontay Lawson, the linebacker from Alabama, also on the board.
Would not hate that. I would like that.
He was kind of overshadowed by Jihad Campbell, but he was really good last year. So, and linking Jihad Campbell to the Bucks was one of my favorite things to do. So let's do it again. An Alabama linebacker to Tampa Bay in Deontay Lawson.
Much better linebacker class this year than last year's, dude. Yeah, for sure. There's a chance 3 linebackers go in the first.
You cool with Lawson, or you want to go with Dylan Thieneman?
No, I'm cool with Lawson. I think he fits the Bucs defense a little bit better than Tillman.
Chargers up at 22 as we're into the playoff teams here, starting with Houston. So Chargers back in the playoffs in this scenario. Eric Singleton. I don't know if they would go receiver, but he's a burner. He can fly. I think Malik Muhammad here still on the board. I think the potential there. I also like Chandler Rivers out of Duke. If we want to go Harris. Corner. I was only bringing up Singleton because he was a burner, and that's they don't
It's what
have
they
just
don't
a
have.
speed
Yeah,
guy. Yeah, but I don't think they
for
would take a
sure.
first round receiver. I think you can find a burner later.
I think they're pretty confident that they can get second, third round receivers, which they did with
I
Ladd, they
agree.
did with Trey Harris. I think that coaching regime is just like, let's get a receiver later in the draft that we can get positions of need early, being offensive line, defensive line, edge rushers, and secondary guys. Secondary possibly.
Yeah, Malik Muhammad's still there. Dylan Thienenin, if we want to go safety. I mean, they have Derwin James, and they drafted R.J. Mickens.
I would probably lean one of the corners being Muhammad or Rivers,
Yeah,
just based off of their needs.
their corner depth is
It's
rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they drafted.
I don't mind Muhammad. I honestly think I like Rivers a little bit more. The kid from Duke.
Yeah,
But it would
did
be one of
Harbaugh
them.
ever play against any of these guys? Did any of these guys ever have a really good game against Michigan? And John Harbaugh's like, I need him.
We need him.
Yeah, Chandler Layer been really great for Duke.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's pretty underrated.
He's playing some good ACC teams, like pairing up against Miami and Clemson, and he's held his own. As you see, his PFF grade 90.7 this past year. He's 6'1". No, he's 5'10". 5'10" at 185. So a little bit smaller, but he's feisty.
Muhammad is like the one. Muhammad is like 6 foot 6'1", 170, 175.
Yeah, I'm cool going Rivers though.
I would personally go Rivers over him, but I get why people would take Muhammad.
They have
over him.
Cam Hart already, who's 6'4" at corner, so they have this big body corner.
That's true.
Get
a
guy on the perimeter who's just real feisty and just make the receiver's life a day. Like they might beat him a few times, but he's gonna make you work.
The way he plays seems like a hardball kind of guy. He's out there just scrapping every single play. He's gonna do whatever you ask of him to do. So
yeah, all right.
I like Rivers a lot.
Let's lock in Chandler Rivers, corner from Duke to the Chargers at 22. Packers at 23. Any of these edge rushers just like real big, thick dudes? Because we know Green Bay's got a type 6'6", 270. Keldrick Folk.
That's a Green Bay type right there, baby.
He's good. He pushes. Plays great run defense. Keldrick Folk out of Auburn. Talent tested, playing in the SEC.
I think Overton's pretty big. The Alabama kid. He doesn't have a lot of experience yet, but if he takes that step,
he took a step. Got some playing time this past year. And
he looked good last season in the games he played for sure. He played a lot, but he didn't play a ton of snaps.
Yeah, 6'5", 280. Yeah.
Oh yeah, big body, baby. Senior year, got to take that step now.
Big name school. That's a Green Bay guy. I'm cool with Overton. I think he does take the step this year. I think Alabama's gonna have a really good defense.
Yeah, I think Alabama's going back to that old Alabama grit. Their defense gonna be stacked.
Yeah. All right, let's lock in LT Overton to the Packers at 23. Rams back up on the clock, 24. Jake Slaughter did not make the fall. So
you hate to see it.
They went Jordan Tyson in the first round. Amarji Reed Adams, guard still here, so we can shore up the interior. Ton of edge rushers still on the board. Deep edge class this year, so I think we could wait on edge hypothetically for the second round. In this scenario, I think they'd be fine waiting.
What about the kid from Oregon? Full safety action?
Oh, Dylan Thieneman.
Who's their secondary?
They got Carnell Lake. He's pretty good. I do not know his running mate across from him. I feel the Rams also rotate safeties every year.
Oh, constantly, yeah. They're just throwing out any kind of safeties.
They got Quentin Lake's now playing nickel, so they got Cam Kitchens and Cam Curl.
Okay, so they're two pretty good young safeties.
Yeah. So
Kitchens looked really good last year.
Yeah, he did.
Dude.
He definitely played better than I thought he was going to. I was iffy on him coming out. They drafted Josiah Stewart and Ty Hamilton, Christian Paul Jr. And the Rams, they just know how to do the work. Carson Beck to back up Matt Stafford. It might be a little rich for me, but I
don't hate it.
I think that is something that is of a possibility. I would love to get a tackle, but I just don't know about the tackles here.
It,
I
it
do
would
like the
almost be it would be us projecting which tackle we think is going to take the step because as of right now, none of these guys are going to go in the
Yeah,
first.
I like the tackle from Florida, Austin Barber, who's been strictly a right tackle, and he's playing left this year. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested to seeing how that goes for him. I also think Isaiah World, who they have as Nevada, but he's transferring to Oregon, so he's taking over for Josh Connerly. He's got the size, and he's going to get the competition up. He's 6'8", 309.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays his own against Big Ten talent, I think he could find his way to the first round. The kid
Yeah,
from
for
Iowa is
sure.
also good. Jennings Dunker.
Yeah.
Iowa
I was
just
putting out
produces just
offensive linemen.
lethal offensive linemen every year.
Yeah, you seen it last year with that high ass PFF grade 90.2. That's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, good size, 6'5", 316. If we wanted to project a guy, I think Isaiah World would be the projection. But I also don't hate just going guard and just locking in Armaji Reed Adams, who I think would have been a top 100 pick this year if he came out.
Yeah, I agree. I'm cool with the guard. Just solidify that interior offensive line.
All right, Bengals up at 25, and Dylan Thienemann's here. I think that's a great pick for them. They need secondary help. They need defensive help still.
They need so much help defensively, dude.
Wild hypothetical. If Shamar Stewart does not sign and he's in this draft class, where's
Do they
he
draft
go?
him?
Well, no, they can't draft him.
And excuse me, anyone but Cincinnati can draft him.
Yeah. So
I think he would go top 15.
Yeah, I would right here to Arizona at 13 over Ruben Bain.
Yeah, I think it depends what kind of year Bain has.
I would say like Vegas could take him at 7.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I truly love that hypothetical. If I was him, I'm not signing that dumbass deal you keep trying to get me to sign.
Yeah.
It's just an insane deal for anyone to sign.
I do think they're going to get it to work, but Cincinnati, Dylan Thieneman, I think having Dax Hill back is going to be huge for them. He was clearly their best defensive back.
100%.
And he missed all of last season, and it showed. He's going to be back this year, which I think is going to be great for them. As long as they can get to like a middle of the road defense, that's a win for the Bengals. But now get a guy in Dylan Thieneman who could sure up the back end with Dax Hill. I like that combo.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, and like you said, he's played a ton of football.
Yeah, Cincinnati, you just need to be able to not let up 38 points because your offense is going to score 35 a game, pretty close to it. So,
yeah.
But that defense is horrendous now, dude.
San Francisco now on the clock at 26. Malik Muhammad's still here. I don't hate Eric Singleton here. I know they got, Ayuk and Jennings and Pearsall, but they don't have a burner like Singleton. And who knows if Ayuk's even on the team next year because there's always drama there. And, we'd have to project Pearsall up. Jennings, I think he's at his ceiling. I just think he's a good number 2, just every year lock in, Jacoby Myers style. I don't think he's a for sure number 1. I don't think Singleton's a 1, but Singleton opens up the top of the defense in a role that Ayuk would have had if they would move on from him.
I know we're not doing fantasy stuff. Who's your fantasy receiver for the Niners?
It's going to be Juwan Jennings.
Okay, I'm Ricky Pearsall. So
okay. You're going the risky projection route. Yeah. I'm taking the safe floor guy.
I think Ricky Pearsall takes that step. I think he's going to be. I think it's going to be Jennings to start like early on, but I think Pearsall, the last 3 games he had to end the season, I really think Pearsall is going to be hella undervalued in fantasy football.
We could continue to go defense for the Niners, get Robert Saleh more defensive guys.
I think that's where they go. I think they go defensive line.
Okay. Tyreek Sapp.
Keldrick or even,
or do you want to go interior with Banks from Florida?
The linebacker from Texas A&M would be a little fun.
Yeah, Torian York. Pair him up with. I think he's like the best floor linebacker. I think he's just a good linebacker.
Agree.
Him with Fred Warner would be a ton of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's solidify the defense. Continue here. Let's go. I like Torian York.
And that's when the Niners are at their best. Like, yeah, they have a stacked offense. But when their defense is just consistently running rotation after rotation of really good, fast, hungry talent, that's when the Niners are just unstoppable. And I think getting a rotation of linebackers is going to be huge for them.
Mm-hmm. Washington here at 27. I I think we could talk one of the running backs, even though I don't think one of them really warrants first round buzz yet. But I think Washington could upgrade over Brian Robinson. I do love the
Mm-hmm.
edge rusher from Oregon, Mateo Uiaga. He's
Mm-hmm.
DJ's brother, but he's 19. I don't think he's coming out. But
Young gun.
he's got a ton of upside. Like I think he's gonna be a future first rounder. But 19, I don't think he's coming out this year.
What about one of the receivers?
I was gonna say I don't hate adding one of the speed guys. Casey Concepcion, Kevin, hit it down year this past year, but NC State was just in shambles in general. So now he transferred out to Texas A&M. They have that updated, but they don't have any of the other transfers. And I've brought up Singleton, just this burner of a player from Auburn. I would say it would be one of those. I don't know if they go like Surratt's big, 6'2", Carnell Tate's 6'3", but he's sort of similar to Terry.
Nick Harbor.
Nick Harbor, you're pushing. This is your guy. Okay.
I do like Nick Harbor a lot, and that they don't have a huge receiver, dude.
Debo's huge, but
yeah, thick
round
wise.
wise.
Terry McLaurin's going to get a deal. He is the heart and soul of that locker room.
What about your boy Denzel Boston? He's huge.
He's big.
6'4", 209. His
he's
dad
not
played
240 though.
No, his dad.
I love Boston. You're not going to convince me not out of Boston.
But yeah, if you think Nick Harbor is going to make that jump, I just think there's the potential to be.
It's all projection.
Yeah,
it's all projection. That's what it. Yeah,
like this could just be Xavier Legette 2.0.
You mean an end of the round, first round pick here?
Yes, but Xavier Legette hasn't worked at all so far.
Man, he had spurts. He's looked decent.
He did. Yeah, I still like Legette. I think.
I agree.
I think they found a role for him now because they brought in Tet to do the middle stuff, and now they can let Legette thrive where he's better. He doesn't need to do the middle of the field stuff.
I would go Boston if I had to go one of the receivers for sure. But adding Harbor to this receiving room was that's what they don't have. They don't have this huge body for Jaden Daniels to just throw it up to him. And it worked for BTJ in LSU. He loves big body guys.
Yeah. I went Denzel Boston, still big, 6'4", 209.
Yeah. I like that pick a lot.
His dad played wide receiver, David Boston. So Lions up at 28. Malik Muhammad's still here.
This is where Slaughter needs to fall for real. Their all-pro center just up and retired and left them stranded. So
he did, yeah. I would lean Malik Muhammad here. I also don't hate going with one of the edge rushers, Keldrick Falk, the kid from Michigan.
They drafted a bunch of secondary the last couple years. I think I would lean defensive end if I had to go for one of them.
This year they drafted an interior guy in the first. They drafted my dude, Tyleek Williams. So I think they would lean edge rusher. Who's got some more? Who's the juice guy? Who's got juice in this crew? Because we got to get a guy who can get after the pass rusher like Aiden Hutchinson, who can also play the run.
Kamara's had 10 sacks and 8 sacks in his 2 years.
Okay, Indiana kid, so he
had 40 hurries this year.
Okay, yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, that's what I need. I just need a guy who could just
crazy
brother pin those ears back and get the quarterback. So yeah, we're gonna go Mikhail Kamara.
He had 29 the year before, dude.
Yeah. Oh, Keldrick Falk had 30 last year.
He had 30.
Yeah,
he was
9
out there.
sacks. SEC
he was out there grinding.
6'6", 270. I don't hate that. 45 pressures, 9 sacks. Oh, it might be Keldrick Falk. Still developing. See, I haven't got to him, so I've only I've watched a little bit of Kamara just from being in the top Big Ten. Same with Derek Moore, but I'm cool with Kamara or Falk. Where you want to go?
Go with Falk. He's just the higher name right now on people's boards. Yeah.
Kansas City at 29 here as we push towards the end. Another just kind of luxury pick that we can go here for the Chiefs. I don't know if they're going to go receiver. Running back, though. It,
Oh,
Pacheco, how do you
this
feel
might
about Pacheco? They're like they
be a
brought in
contract
Elijah
year for
Mitchell.
Pacheco, correct?
They that I don't know. They brought in Elijah Mitchell and they brought back Kareem Hunt. So that tells me we're looking at a committee, but I think
I
Isaiah
think
Pacheco is way more talented than both those guys. That I think he could outplay the committee and just be the bell cow guy. But I don't know how much long-standing value Isaiah Pacheco has.
they also drafted what's his
He
face out of
he
SMU in the
Sean
seventh,
Smith. Pacheco
former
is a
receiver.
free agent after this season.
So I think, like you said, they're going to run a committee, and they used Kareem Hunt a lot in their catch back last year. So I don't think Pacheco has a lot of PPR value. I think he's got a lot of goal line value. He's going to get the touchdowns. I don't think it's going to be a crazy year from Pacheco, but I think he's going to be relevant again, but it's not going to be crazy.
Yeah. So I like Jonah Coleman. He transferred, he's a little smaller, 5'9", but he's built like a bowling ball, 228.
Mm-hmm.
Transferred from Arizona. He went with the Jed Fisher to Washington. Like Jed Fisher had to have him. That was like his stipulation of going there. You got to bring me Jonah Coleman. Nick Singleton's got juice. Like he can run straight line speed, 4.3 speed, but it's always kind of clunky for him. But 12 touchdown guy. So
I like Singleton. If I had to go one of the backs,
okay, yeah. I don't know if I like Singleton more than I like Coleman, but I think Singleton provides a much higher ceiling. I think Coleman's a good floor, just lock him in, sort of like a David Montgomery, like he can just do the grunt work. Mm-hmm. But I think Singleton brings a juice that Coleman does not.
Yeah, I think he brings a lot to that offense for Kansas City, particularly. He's quick, he's big. I think he's more durable. And I think that's what the Chiefs want. I think they're just going to want a guy that can do it all because they're going to ditch Kareem Hunt, they're going to ditch Pacheco, and they're just going to probably ditch Mitchell as well. So that's three guys that they just don't need next year, all replaced by one guy, Singleton.
All right, Buffalo up at 30. Eric Singleton. I don't know if they go receiver.
Who do they got? They got Keon. They got the
Khalil
little guy
Shakir just got
re-signed.
paid.
Yeah, for a bunch.
Curtis Samuel's there, but
is he still their 3?
No,
they have Josh Palmer.
Josh Palmer's their 3.
Okay, so it's Palmer, Coleman. Keon Coleman I like a lot this year. He played a lot banged up late last year. I think Keon Coleman takes a decent step forward this year.
I think we got to look at one of the edge rushers here.
I agree. I would go defense for Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean they brought in Landon Jackson in the draft, but you can never have enough edge guys. What's their corner depth looking like? I'm blanking on who they took in the first round. Oh, Buffalo, they drafted your guy. They drafted your guy, Maxwell Hairston.
Yes, which makes sense.
Yeah, with Benford, Taron Johnson, Tre'Davious White's back there. They also got Jordan Hancock.
Yeah, get Josh Allen the ball back.
Sure enough,
they drafted really well. Yeah, they drafted really well.
Yeah, I think we're looking. They got TJ Sanders. Yeah, they still need edge rush help. Joey Bosa, he's aging. AJ Espinosa, he's not that great. Greg Russo's incredible. So you got one true pass rusher, Landon Jackson as your rotational guy. So let's look at these edge rushers here.
That also follows the trend of teams with elite quarterbacks tend to go defensive heavy early in drafts because they're already set. Your quarterback can run the whole offense. It doesn't matter who they have around him. He's not out on the field on defense. So that's when you need to go out and get this elite talent to help your quarterback because Josh Allen can carry a whole squad of offensive guys. It doesn't matter. We've seen it happen last year.
Yeah.
He can't play defense, unfortunately.
David Bailey from Texas Tech, he's your best, true stand-up, just rush. Like, you could see his stat, like, he's just over the outside the tackle and off ball all the time, 26 hurries. He gets after the quarterback really well. Same with Michael Kamara. So I would say one of those two guys here. Yeah,
I'd be cool with either of those guys.
All right, we'll go with Kamara. Better competition out there in Indiana. He's playing up against Big Ten guys. So Michael Kamara, edge rusher from Indiana to Buffalo, putting the Eagles up at 31.
Philly, go Birds.
And Malik Muhammad falling into the lap. They took Jihad Campbell first round. Do we look at replacing Jordan Davis now? Because he's due to be up. Caleb Banks is still on the board. Christian Miller from Michigan or from Georgia also still there as an interior defensive lineman. We know Philly loves their Georgia guys.
That's their guys right there, dude.
305. Caleb Banks also just big body, like I said, 6'6", 329. So, Philly loves just those dudes that eat in the middle of the defense there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going defensive line because that makes a lot of sense. And that's what Philly does. They just keep replenishing these defensive linemen because they go out and get banked. These guys get paid every single one that hits the market. So, yeah, I'd be cool with Banks or Miller here. I'd probably lean Miller just because of the Georgia connection.
I like makes a little bit more sense. A little more, especially for replacing.
Banks more, too. I'm just drafted for Philly here. That's what I'm doing.
Especially for replacing Jordan Davis, who's just thicker, and that's Banks 6'6", 329. Yeah. Whereas Miller's more Jaden Carter built.
He's more agile. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm cool with Banks.
We'll go Caleb Banks, 31 to Philly. And that puts up, in this scenario, Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens
Super Bowl
32. Malik Muhammad still on the board. Ravens do need secondary help. I know they brought in Jair Alexander, but that's not going to fix the problem.
Yeah, and then they drafted, what's-his-face 2 years ago? Little thin kid.
TJ Tampa.
Oh, no. Didn't they draft what's-his-face?
Nate Wiggins, too.
Yes.
They drafted both of them. I don't hate receiver. I know that's not their thing, but I think Elijah
Especially
Surratt,
after signing Bateman. They signed Bateman.
Yeah, but Surratt's sort of that the role that DeAndre Hopkins is supposed to play on this team, 6'2", 209. So he kind of gives them a red zone target, especially
you mean a guy that's like 6'5", 235? There's one of those guys specifically in the draft. I'm not going to lie to you.
Baltimore doesn't do, traitsy dudes like they're like that. That feels like a reach for Baltimore. Baltimore's just let the guys fall to them.
Well, then if you want someone that's going to get the job done, fucking Zachariah Branch, the Georgia receiver. He's out there quick, twitchy. That's honestly what Baltimore loves. They love undersized slot receivers.
Do we want more of that, though? They already got Zay Flowers.
That's what they love. They love it.
They do. I
like Tate a lot. I seen you clicked on Tate's name, the Ohio State receiver.
6'3", 191. I don't even... They probably wouldn't even.
I honestly think they would just go BPA, like Bolt. Yeah, it would be Muhammad.
Yeah, best guy on the board, and
that's honestly what they do. Or even
if he takes the Jedi Barron step and he does a little bit of everything, and it's big name school. Texas probably going to be in the national championship hunt. Falling here to 32, just makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, all right, let's close it out. Malik Muhammad, corner from Texas, going to Baltimore to end out the draft. So, reminder, Arch Manning, Sam Levitt, Lenora Sellers, names we've talked about, we both think they're all going back to school.
They're all young, dude. They all fucking need more years.
Like, if we had them all in there, Arch was going 1, Sellers probably goes 2 to Cleveland, and then...
I think Nussmeyer's goes over Sellers.
Okay. I
think there's a chance Nussmeier goes over Arch.
That sound like me.
It's just, I think he's going to... I'm looking at him as like taking that Jaden Daniels type of level. Okay. Like that leap. Yeah, I think he's going to do that.
That's fair. That's absolutely
fair. To where I don't know if Arch is going to take as big of a jump, but he's going to take a jump, obviously, because he's amazing. But I think Nussmeier is going to take the biggest jump this year, and that's why I don't think Arch is coming out. I think he's going to take another year to just develop his game to where I think Nussmeier does that this year, and he comes out and he's the first pick.
That's fair. All right, quick recap. Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback LSU, 1 to Saints. Kate Klubnik, quarterback Clemson, 2 to Cleveland. Francis Muioa, offensive tackle from Miami to the Giants. Drew Aller, quarterback Penn State to the Jets. Peter Woods, defensive interior, Clemson to the Titans. Caleb Downs, safety, Ohio State, 6 to Carolina. And in my eyes, those are the probably the two best players in the draft, and they went 5 and 6. So just positional value, teams needing quarterbacks at the top of the board. TJ Parker, edge rusher, Clemson, 7 to the Raiders. Spencer Fanu, offensive tackle, Utah, to the Colts at 8. Caden Proctor, offensive tackle, Alabama, to Cleveland at 9. Avian Terrell, corner, Clemson, to round out the top 10. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State, to the Rams at 11. Jeremiah Love, the running back, Notre Dame, to the Seahawks at 12. Ruben Bain Jr., edge rusher, from Miami, to the Cardinals at 13. A.J. Harris, corner, Penn State, to New England at 14. Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker, Texas, to the Cowboys at 15. And Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana, to the Steelers at 16. Danny Dennis Sutton, edge rusher, Penn State, 17, to the Bears. Our guy, Jake Slaughter, center from Florida, the Broncos at 18. Jermod McCoy, corner from Tennessee, to Minnesota at 19. Zayden Durant, defensive interior lineman from Penn State, to the Texans at 20. Deontay Lawson, linebacker, Alabama, to the Bucks at 21. Chandler Rivers, corner from Duke, to the Chargers at 22. LT Overton, edge rusher, Alabama, 23, to the Packers. Armaj Reed Adams, guard from Texas A&M, to the Rams at 24. Dylan Thieneman, safety from Oregon, to the Bengals at 25. Tareen York, linebacker, Texas A&M, to the 49ers at 26. Denzel Boston, wide receiver, Washington, to Washington at 27. Keldrick Falk, edge rusher, Auburn, to the Lions at 28. Nicholas Singleton, the running back, Penn State, to the Chiefs at 29. Michael Kamara, edge rusher from Indiana, to the Bills at 30. Caleb Banks, defensive interior from Florida, to the Eagles at 31. And Malik Muhammad, the corner from Texas, to the Ravens from Texas at 32. There it is. We finally did it. The mock draft. It's in the books. 2026. And now you guys can look forward to some fantasy football going forward. We're going to do divisional breakdowns like we did last year, give our predictions. We'll also do our rankings as well for, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, and running back.
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
Sleepers, bust, ADP stuff. Hell yeah, dude. I'm excited. We'll get another mock or two in.
Yeah, I think the plan's 2 or 3 mocks to kind of round out the year for fantasy, the summer, and rankings and whatnot as well going forward.
We flipped the page. Draft stuff's now kind of all in the books. Yeah, we're still doing summer scouting here and there. We'll tell you about guys we like when we find them.
Yeah, so. Every other week or once a week, we'll just kind of talk about players we watched that week or whatnot. Not do full names deep dives, just do some minor talking points. All right, cool. Anything else you want to talk about before we bounce?
No real big news fantasy wise. No one signed. No one switched teams.
Justin
Tucker got hit with a 10-game suspension for a team he doesn't even play for, so he'll have to serve that if he signs. I doubt he does, to be honest. But dude, we're chilling. Fantasy's right here though. I'm excited. I've been grinding rankings. Some deep dive on guys, trying to bang on some stats in here.
Yeah,
so.
I just statted out the Minnesota Vikings and
nice
4,000 yards for JJ McCarthy, baby.
JJ 4,000.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson getting 4,000 yards because
Addison's gonna get hit with that suspension this year, so that's gonna take a dip in his ADP. I think Hawkinson's a really good PPR value for sure.
Yeah.
I honestly low-key like both your running backs too. I think Mason's getting underdrafted in like the 9th. Aaron Jones obviously still the guy I want out of that backfield, but I think both of them are going to be pretty valuable.
Yeah. So we'll get into that. We'll do some values here and there, sleepers stuff, whatnot. All right, Drafted a Podcast. You know where to find us. Like, rate, subscribe, review, all that good stuff. Support our friends at Dubby and Finley, and we'll see you guys next week.
Oh yeah, baby. Bye, y'all.
Adios.